You hear me okay? My name is Dan McGinnis, Director of Public Safety for the Benton Harbor Department of Public Safety. First name, common spelling, last name is MC, capital G-I-N-N-I-S. So we have before us an incident, and I will give you some of the preliminary facts of that incident. The incident is currently still being, it's under investigation. We want to at least get information out to the public, knowing some of the general facts moving forward. We believe in full disclosure, and at some point, once we've gotten with the family and taken care of the investigation, we will be releasing videos and the audio from the county. So there's already been a question as far as a FOIA. You can submit them to us, but we will be releasing at the time that the prosecutor of Benton County, Mike Sepik, deems it appropriate to release that information, okay? So on October 18th, approximately 2:12 a.m., Benton County Dispatch received a call from a third-party caller indicating that there was a subject that was being held at gunpoint at a house on Pavone Street in the city of Benton Harbor, the 900 block of Pavone. The caller was not sure what the address was, but was able to give a description of a particular vehicle that was in the driveway at this location. Officers got together for a response plan. When we have calls such as a barricaded gunman or a person being held at gunpoint, we treat those very seriously. Officers got together, got a plan to approach the house. Officers got into the area, found the residence that had the vehicle as described by the caller. Officers then approached the house, made contact with the residents of the home, investigating whether there had been any trouble afoot. The occupants of the residence had not called the police, were unaware of any incident that had happened. They were fully cooperative, invited us into the house to search the house to see if there had been anybody that might have been there injured, under duress, or any type of suspicious situation. Upon determining that there was nothing of trouble in the house, the officers with the homeowner go back outside on the front porch, ultimately on the front steps. As one of our officers is getting her name and information, shots ring out from the south on Pavone Street coming from the area of Broadway Park. There are an area of 4 to 5 shots that were originally shot at towards the residents. The officers felt as if they were being shot at. One officer describes as having a bullet whiz by his head. The officers immediately run for cover, backside of the house, ultimately into the alley. Shots continued to ring out. One of the officers that was on the location that was having cover for the officers for the original call was standing by a tree with a police issue high-power rifle. He sees the muzzle flash, the shots ring out. Officer then engages the subject as he's shooting at the house on Pavone Street. More shots ring out, a couple more shots. We also shoot, hitting the subject, and subsequently he died from his injuries. At this point, I think the body is at the autopsy right now as we speak. We are unaware of the nature of the injuries of the subject that was shot. That information will be released in the future. Fortunately, no officers were hurt. It should be noted that not only on the front steps of the residence where the officers were talking to the resident, she was outside. Could be heard on video, her running for cover also. There also was another female who happened to be crossing the street. She could be seen on video running as the shots ring out. Again, it ended up being shots going both ways, and subsequently with the subject being shot and killed. We immediately contacted the Michigan State Police to come in as a nonpartisan agency to do the investigation. That is pending. Any investigatory questions could be asked of Lieutenant Christensen. The officer who was involved in the shooting, according to our policy, procedure, and CBA, has been placed on paid administrative leave. At this point, we are not releasing the name of the officer, and we're not releasing the name of the subject who was shot for respect to the family. All right, for the respect of the family, for both families. There are other things that we're investigating. Again, any investigative questions can be directed to the state police. And that is the situation that we have. Once the subject was down, we do know that the gun that he was shooting was totally expelled of all rounds. In addition, there was a second firearm in a pocket in his left leg. Those were confiscated and kept as evidence. And there is ultimately a bigger investigation that we're putting together.
When will you be releasing that?
Soon.
Today?
Well, it depends on the course of the investigation. What do you think?
Very likely today, later on today. Where did you say the second firearm was found?
On the pant leg, left pant leg of the person was shot.
Is there any doubt that the officers were the intended target of gunfire?
At this point, we can't say that.
It's possible because of shooting at the homeowner or the resident?
That is possible, sir. Yes, sir.
Was it the rifle that shot you? The man with the rifle?
Yes.
No other gunshots?
No,
to him?
the other officers did not return fire as they were scurrying to get cover, and he was shot with the police issue rifle.
Once, or do you know how many times?
At this point, we don't know the number of times he was shot.
Do you know where the 911 call came from?
Yes.
Where, can you say who, you know,
At this point, we can't release that information. Yeah, this is
if it was a landline or a cell phone?
that I cannot say. That I cannot say.
Obviously, the community should be concerned that this was some kind of ambush. Can you say either way, but was it or wasn't it? Did you change your policies in responding to business calls?
Yeah. At this point, I don't know if we're ready to say it was. I think preliminarily, we don't think that it was an ambush. There's other facts that will be released later on that will help understand kind of the whole situation. But it's clear that there was an intention to harm somebody at that residence. Pavone is very dark, especially at night, very, very dark. So it's quite possible that it was shooting at movement. We can't not say for sure that he was shooting at officers purposely and specifically to shoot at officers.
At this point, you don't think that your officers were intentionally shot at?
We can't say that we can say that right now. That makes any sense.
Is there any reason to believe that?
Right, I don't know the difference. I'm
Is there
sorry.
any reason to believe that the person who called was working at all with the people, I guess, firing that shot?
The caller was not working with the shooter, no.
Did officers indicate whether they saw the subject approaching and then the shots rang out, or the shots happened and then they found that subject?
The shots just happened. In one of the cameras that will be, again, released later on, you can see a muzzle flash in the distance from a shot coming towards the officers. Benton Harbor Department of Public Safety has body cams. We've had them for a couple years now. We're very grateful because there's a lot of information we've been able to glean from those. And putting the various officers' body cams together, you can see the whole picture.
You were talking about a lot of different shots being fired on both ends. Any idea of how many came from that subject, or is that part of the investigation?
I think I probably will let Lieutenant speak to that. At this point, I'm not sure if we know exactly for sure if we're releasing that information. One thing I will also know that during the course of the shots being fired, the woman who was in the street when the shots rang out, again, you can see on video her running. One of the officers grabbed her, pulled her to cover, ultimately stuffed her in her car and got her to safety. So even though this was a situation that was pretty harrowing, officers were able to act and save a life. I'm not sure what happened on the front porch, but the woman who you'll see ultimately running away, we end up getting her to cover. So,
She was on Field Street.
yes, yeah, I think she was crossing the street.
How many officers total were on the scene?
4.
Is that from the start, or did that join in?
This
Is
is
it
4.
normal for a phone call of someone being held at gunpoint, for only 4 officers to respond to that?
Well, you have to realize that doesn't happen often. We have policies and procedures to address that. Now, if you look at the prevailing wisdom or logic in police officers, it'd be really kind of no different than school shootings. Years ago, when Combine first happened, we would wait to a team to assemble, then we go in. Now we're saying let's go and immediately neutralize this threat, make sure that we save any possible victims. With 4 officers, that's a darn good response, because you got your approaching officers, you got a perimeter set up, as well as a cover officer that covers the officers as they make contact with the residents. So we're pleased with the response that we had on that.
Neighbors in that area said there was someone else there that was taken away by police. Can you speak to that at all?
I'm not aware of that.
Neighbors also said a car was towed from the scene. Is that true, and if so, why?
Yes.
Yes. Part of the investigation is why.
Is it believed to be the suspect's car? Was it hit by gunfire? Or
It had been hit by gunfire, yes.
What about a stop sign taken down? People were running a stop sign was taken down. Is that an investigation too?
Really, again, that would be a question for the state police as far as they handle the scene.
Okay, so just to clarify, 4 officers responded to the initial call.
Yes.
The man being held at gunpoint.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said the female officer sought cover and a gentleman officer fired back. Where were the other 2 officers?
No, there wasn't a female officer. There was the home occupant, the homeowner,
Oh, okay.
was talking to the officers when the shots rang out.
Okay.
So you have that woman with the officers, and there was a woman in the streets.
Okay.
All right.
Can you emphasize once again, why is there a need to bring in, outside, Michigan State Police to help out with this?
Okay, that's a good question. One of the things which wouldn't look very transparent if we were to investigate ourselves, okay? For the purpose of transparency and for public trust, we feel it's best to either have situations like this, either the Berrien County Sheriff Department or the Michigan State Police come in and handle those investigations. It's totally, at this point, taken out of our hands. The only part that we have is the internal administrative investigation, which would indicate if there were any policies or procedures that had been broken departmentally. So we think it's best served for our community, for our department, that state police, who really have no really dog in the fight in this, for lack of a better term, to come in and investigate, and it'd be proactive, and it'd be without bias.
were the 2 guns found on the suspect registered in his or her name, and were they legally owned?
That I do not know.
There was neighbors talking about just community trust, and I saw just about a year ago, you guys were holding a panel about transparency. What would you want to say, I guess, to the community? A lot of people are just unsure. It took so long to get any details out to the media as well. What would you want people who are frustrated, I guess, right now to know from your department?
Okay, well, I would probably take issue with that. I think we moved kind of quickly. Most press conferences might have been 4 or 5 o'clock. What we wanted to do was gather the facts first of all. We had to coordinate with Michigan State Police. We had other responding detectives, Violent Crime Task Force, Berrien County Sheriff Department, Benton Township assisted, St. Joe City assisted. Get all that information collaborated and consolidated to move forward to make a decision. Again, we are, Benton Harbor Department of Public Safety is ready to release any video or anything related to this. However, it's dependent upon the investigation and the decision of Mike Sepik. The reason why we're not doing anything today, for the respect of the family, we will not put them in a situation, they have not seen it first, just out of respect. We talk about respect for our community and vice versa. I think it would be disrespectful to show video that they have not seen yet, okay? So as soon as that is, again, send your FOIA, so we're gonna send out anyway. Benton Harbor Police Department believes in transparency. Whatever we have, you will have.
Now, I know that you can't identify the subject right now, but can you give me background information on if they were well known in the community, if you guys had had any interactions with this subject?
We had some prior interaction with him. I don't have all that information in front of me. There have been other instances of complaints involving him and other individuals. So it was, I wouldn't say it was well-known, but it had been known.
Does he have a criminal record?
I believe so, yes.
Did the audit votes were expelled from the suspect's weapon?
Yes.
You know, how many?
7.
Just to be clear, do they,
From the scene?
The actual, that I don't know. That'd be a question for the state police.
People on phone were talking about a bicycle being involved, and in fact, some people said the suspect was riding a bicycle.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct. He was.
Was he shooting when he was riding the bicycle?
It appears that way.
just to be clear, did I hear you say preliminarily you do not think police were targeted?
I'm sorry, who are you with?
Gentlemen, do you?
Okay. No. No, not at this point, we don't.
Can you say how far away the subject was from the house that officers were at?
Maybe 20, 25 yards.
You mentioned no police were injured. Did any bullets go through the house? Was anyone else hurt in any way?
No one was hurt. I can't speak to, remember, as far as the actual crime scene, if you will, we totally turned that over to state police. There might be some questions that Lieutenant Mike can field, but I personally do not know.
What was the race of the police officer that shot
The-
the rifle?
He's white.
Were all 4 of them wearing body cameras, or one for team here?
It was three out of the 4 were.
Okay.
One went down. We're actually getting that serviced. The way ours work, each body camera is assigned specifically to that officer. So if we don't have spares, because they're all linked digitally, so 3 out of the 4 have their body camera footage that we have.
And how did it go down? Was it shot, or did it just malfunction here, the body camera?
This was maybe a week or so ago. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, so he was wearing one that wasn't really working anymore?
No, he didn't have it. He didn't have his.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And we can't actually, according to our system, assign spares to a person because that would mess up kind of the system of the ones he has versus, yeah.
But 3 other body cameras were rolling in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Excuse me if you already said this, but what type of gun did the suspect have?
Do we wanna-
It was a semi-automatic,
Both of the guns that were retrieved were semi-automatic?
yes.
Handguns?
Yes.
I also apologize if you answered this already. Is there any known relationship between the suspect and the residents of the home that were involved in this incident?
We're, at this point, it's under investigation still, the nature of relationships, so we won't be speaking to that now.
How many suspects do you have?
1.
So the shooting came from towards the park. Was the person in the park or right along the street, kind of alongside the park and the street?
That, basically. Kind of there's the edge of the park, there's a sidewalk, there's some bushes, kind of right in that area. It looks, according to the video, looked like the first shots kind of rang out through the bushes as he moves into the street. As he moves into the street is when our officer ended up engaging him.
So you can confirm the subject was male black and the police officer was a white male?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little history of the officer who's now been placed on administrative leave? Is he a veteran? How long has he been with the force, things like that?
He is, actually, he has 1 month away, have a year in. He's one of our actually firefighters who we sponsor at the academy, became a police officer, so.
Say that again, sorry, I had difficulty hearing you. He's 1 month away from the first year?
Yes,
Of being on the
yes.
force? Okay.
He originally was a firefighter that cross-trained as a police officer.
Okay.
So, one more time, I'm sorry. She asked if he was on a bike, so right now, the investigation, we believe that the man that was shot and killed was on a bike and then emptied a full handgun.
Yes.
And he was riding the bike from the bushes into the street, not the other way around?
We can only kind of hypothesize. Any other questions?
Did you ever find anybody with a gun to the head, or was that a totally bogus call?
Still being investigated.
At this point, any evidence of a guy with a gun being held to his head?
It's still being investigated.
Is there any sense of whether that some of the substance of that call was credible in terms of that person thinking someone may imminently have be held at gunpoint?
There's a level of credibility to it. Again, there's a much bigger canvas here that will be released later. But they're looking at the facts of the call, the scene, they do coincide.
On that
going on. At this point, you can't release all of those details, but from what you know of what was going on, you think you pretty much know it, and it did involve police being targeted or ambushed.
Correct.
And we'll understand all that when you release.
Yes, ma'am, you will.
I'm confused, you said police are being targeted or ambushed, but when he asked you the question, you said you don't believe.
No, I said we don't think they were.
Oh, you don't believe it?
No.
A lot of residents or citizens who were on Pavone Street gathered at the scene were expressing frustration with the police's relationship with the community. From your perspective, how is the community-police relationship here, and what's your message to people who may be frustrated by this incident and believe the suspect may have been unfairly targeted?
Well, one of the things that, since I've been sitting in the seat, is try to improve our community relationship with our citizens. Our people that I work with, matter of fact, Pastor McAfee, a good friend of mine, is one of those liaisons for us. Let's be frank, guys. Been in our police department over probably 30 years. Have had some instances where public trust, sorry, CW7, where public trust has been a fabric kind of ripped. Okay, we understand that. We're trying to repair that. By no means will we stand here and say we're perfect, that there's nothing that's ever happened, that you have no reason to have any feelings towards us. We understand things that happened in the past. We're trying to move forward to have a better relationship with our community. And with that being said, we're asking, if we're trying to put Olive Branch out, that the community also look at things from the past, and let's work together moving forward. As somebody referenced to the forum we had last year that came through the governor's office on community relations. We just had a follow-up forum probably 3-4 weeks ago, following back up on that. I just felt from the 100 or so people that were there, the tone was very positive. Yes, people have concerns, and let me be clear on this. We want to hear your concerns. By no means do we want to have pie in the sky, live in a place where we just ignore facts or questions or inquiries. We want to know those things, because for us to be better, we have to know what you're thinking. We think that as far as relations, it goes both ways. We think cultural relationships go both ways. Yeah, we understand that we have a 92% black community, but the community needs to understand we have an 87% white police force. That's a whole nother topic, a whole nother discussion. In the state of Michigan, there are only a very small few that go into police work, and over the last 10 years of police academies, I think 8.9% have been black. So that's just the nature of the game. We have done some things that I'm quite proud of here recently, where we are recruiting people from our community and sponsoring them to the police academy / fire academy. Right now we have 2 people in fire school. We got 1 person in police academy. They're going to graduate about the same time. They're going to flop, and they're going to go police and fire. Why is that important? We believe that's important for several reasons. One, it cuts down our turnover. A lot of people come to Benton Harbor, get experience, go back to Kalamazoo, go back to Grand Rapids, go back to wherever. Didn't really have an investment here. We need to start talking about an investment in our community. Do you live here? You work here? Are you working here because you just want to collect a paycheck? Are you working here because you have a love for the city of Benton Harbor and you want to see things better? You know, I'm originally from Grand Rapids. I'm a Benton Harbor resident, tried and true, till the day I die. 18 years I've been here. So we're looking at forming relationships. We're looking at forming relationships with not just people on the street, but young kids. We're bringing PAL back. We're trying to do things for the community to say, hey, they're trying. Give them a shot. That's what we're trying to do. Very important. And we won't stop until we have some positive results.
And on that positive note, can you say the name of the officer who helped save the woman, or is he here? He or she?
No, ma'am, not at this point, no.
And how old was this subject? Just trying to get a picture.
28.
And how old was the officer who fired at the suspect?
I'm not sure. Your age? I don't know. You look about the same age. Kid.
Any indication that drugs, alcohol, or mental illness were factors in this whole thing?
I can't speak to that. I do not know.
So is the person who called in that initial report under investigation of the person being held at gunpoint that wasn't?
I don't know where that fits into the investigation as a whole. Yeah. You want to do this?
I'll just wait. If you have investigative questions,
Yeah.
you can just direct them toward me.
Okay, matter of fact, we could probably switch that out to answer those type of questions. Again, I think he'll talk about any investigative questions. Prosecutor Mike Seppel will talk about the process from here. And then if there'll be no further questions after that, we'll dismiss again. Okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Are you doing anything today in the community to, address any unrest or confusion or whatever out there? Are you responding to calls any differently? Are you kind of relying on the media to get the word out? Or are you going out and telling people what happened in the neighborhoods? Or what are you doing today in response to this directive?
All that.
All that?
Yeah, one of the things we are the police. We have to be safe. Our safety is kind of pretty important to us. So there's protocols that will be activated. We'll be meeting with state police, district post commander, Sheriff Bailey, FBI on anything moving forward. We hope that we don't have any issues. We understand people will be hot. We understand people who will have their opinions. I think we can agree to disagree peacefully. That's why we thought it was important to get before you quickly and get facts out of what we were able to put out. Again, we really have nothing to hide, as you'll see, as the investigation unfolds and information is released. But we want to do some things a little differently until we figure out how long it takes for the emotions to go down. Obviously, it's not going to go away overnight. We're here. It is what it is. But we're going to be safe. We're going to make sure you're safe.
Can you describe some of those protocols that will be different? I mean, like, what, doubling up, or I don't know what those would be.
Possibly. I won't go into detail on that, just to be safe for the officers.